Hi, welcome to Zoba's Wealth Lab, a space where we encourage creating wealth fearlessly and we talk real world finances in an uninhibited way. No fluff. So, welcome. And today we're going to be talking about a not mid month, end of year money reset, how to fix your budget, and also to stop December overspending. So, let's see, today's December 6th and there are a lot of people who are still in the midst of December spending. At December 6th, there are quite a few people who probably haven't bought all of their Christmas gifts yet. And so there is a lot of spending going on even as we barrel towards the end of the year. And this is a good opportunity to talk about December spending, how to curb it, how to get your budget together, and also how to make sure that for you are set up for 2026. So, let's see. We're going to talk about today, we'll talk about why December breaks budget. We'll talk about three bucket reset method for your finances. We'll go through a simple December
Hello guys,
budget
welcome to my channel.
scenario, how to temporarily tighten without feeling deprived. And we'll work together on a 14-day money action plan just to help you. Once again, the goal is to help you get your finances together. So let's get started with December. December takes everybody's money, but this evening we're going to work on fighting back. If your spending is creeping up, if the holidays have you stressed, if your budget is begging for help, today we're going to be talking about an end of year money reset so that you can finish December strong, start 2026 well, and avoid feeling stressed. So the goal is to reset December starting now. So why December breaks budgets? Part of the reason December breaks budget is because of the expectation to show up for dinners, for gifts, for outings, for events, for parties, all the peer pressure things that are often disguised as traditions. Always the holiday tradition to give gifts. It's a holiday tradition to have an increase in outings and in dinners and in events. December is more or less a spending month, buying because everybody else is outside enjoying life. There is now the psychological pressure to spend a ton of money in the month of December going into January. And there are different ways stores manipulate our wallets. They will always say stuff like, oh, last big sale of the year, and here is a countdown timer. There are urgency tactics that they employ to make you spend more money than you actually have. And sometimes they are appealing to emotional spending or emotional buying. Like in the month of December, when you are tired and when you are exhausted and busy and overwhelmed, and they roll out all these tactics to make you spend more money. There is also travel and gifting, and you're encouraged to treat yourself, which we should, but this is a tough month to do that. December essentially is two budgets in one. It's your normal expenses plus your holiday expenses layered on top of that. There is the mindset of this is one last treat before the year ends. There are mindless spending triggers that happen this month of December. So because you're tired or busy or rushing or looking at it, it's almost Christmas, it's time to buy something. Most of the time, you're not comparing prices. You're stressed because you're justifying impulse purchases. And there is always emotional buying, which tends to bring temporary relief, but it's also long-term regret, right? So December spending can humble you. But there are ways we can start to reset. So we're going to talk about discuss the three bucket reset method, right? Before you try to fix your whole budget, you want to simplify it, you want to reset it, and then you want to take a moment to breathe. So we'll start with bucket one, which is typically the essentials. So these are expenses that must be paid. This is your rent, your utilities, your childcare, minimum payments for your credit cards, your mortgage, your groceries, your insurance. These are essentials that have to be paid. They have to get funded first. There is no emotion about it. There is no debate about it. There's no if, ands, or whats. This is a bucket that does not change unless your income changes, okay? So that's bucket one. You want to start with resetting that, listing that out, and making sure that's funded first. And then bucket two is your flex spending. And these are the wants, not the needs. You can do without these. They add to quality of life, but they're not mandatory. So things like dining out, because you can cook in things like your nails and your hair. There are low budget options for that. You can do without them. Things like runs to the clothing store, window shopping, Amazon treats, items and equipment you don't really need, snacks and drinks and entertainment. This is usually where overspending hides. So for the next 14 days, we're not removing joy. We're going to be setting boundaries around this second bucket, the flex spending. You want to be careful about how you're spending money in those categories. And then the third bucket, there is the seasonal holiday purchases, right? This is the bucket, let's be honest, only exists between November and January. So things like gifts and decorations, travel upgrades, special meals, holiday events, clothing for parties and shoes and accessories and so on. Most people fail because they do not isolate this bucket. And so when you don't separate it, the holiday spending tends to bleed into the essentials. For example, special meals can suddenly you're spending money on special meals at the same rate you would spend for essentials just because it's December. So the holiday spending has a way of bleeding into flex spending and even essential spending, but you want to reset that. So here is a step-by-step reset action for your budget. Starts by listing for the last 10 to 14 days, listing all your spending. List all your spending. Reassign every expense in the correct bucket. Um, Again, the three buckets we've talked about. We've talked about flex spending. We've talked about essentials. We've talked about your holiday spending. You want to make sure that these expenses are essentially isolated. So for the first step, list all the spending for the last 10 to 14 days. And then the next step is to reassign every expense into the correct bucket. There shouldn't be an expense you have or about to make that is not in one of those three buckets. It's either an essential, it's either flex, or it's either holiday. It's important that you identify which of those three buckets your expenses falls into. You also want to identify which bucket is overinflated. For example, if the holiday bucket of expenses is much higher than your essentials, there is a problem there. If your flex spending is much higher than your essentials, there is a problem there. And then if your essentials just seems too big, your essential expenses, go through it with a fine tooth comb to make sure it's a need. And again, just to summarize, your essential expenses are things like your rent, your mortgage, things you cannot do without, your insurance, childcare, the minimum payments for your credit cards. Those are essential expenses. That an additional piece of clothing or a treat for yourself, or entertainment, snacks, eating out, those are flex spending. Those are wants, they're not mandatory. Remember, that's how you differentiate them. Your essential spending is mandatory. If you don't pay your rent, you don't have anywhere to live, right? If you don't pay your car insurance, you cannot drive your car. So again, list all the spending for 10 to 14 days, reassign every expense into the correct bucket, identify which bucket is overinflated, and what you want to do from now to the end of the month is to freeze or shrink the leaks. So, for example, when you've listed all your expenses and you realize your dining out is $120. We'll cut it down to 40. The goal is not to completely eliminate some of these expenses, because then the next time you spend on them, there is a tendency, just the way the human mind works, there is a tendency to overspend in those areas. Freeze, shrink the links. So dining, reduce something like dining or entertainment, special meals, reduce how much you're spending. You don't want to completely eliminate, just reduce. It might be a matter of switching the restaurants you eat at. Instead of higher end, more expensive restaurants, find more affordable places to eat out in. And then your gift budget, your holiday spending, cap it. That's an example. So for 14 days, so I'm just gonna toss the examples in the chat. Dining out goes from 120 to 40. Your gift budget, you can cap it at $60 and say after that we're done. Total, this is the total amount I'm spending on gifts. Set that budget up early. And the reason, again, the reason we're not completely getting rid of some of these expenses, because your money needs a temporary reset. Remember, we're trying to reset, we're not trying to punish ourselves. We're just resetting the way we spend money to give ourselves a chance to breathe, right? So that is just an action plan to reset our money. We've talked about the three bucket reset method, three buckets of expenses, and the four steps to go about resetting it. Okay? And so, once again, if you haven't subscribed, if you're not following, please subscribe, follow. If you have any questions, put it in the comment box. I will be more than happy to take a pause and review any of those. And if you are just joining in, hello, and it is great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Even as we talk about the end of year money reset, setting ourselves up in the month of December to not be as financially stressed and kicking off 2026 in a better place. Okay, so let's go through a budget reset example. Simple December budget scenario. So your income is 2,800, your paycheck, and let's say your side hustles bring in $300, and that is for the month. So we're looking at a total of about $3,100, if my math is right. To the 800 plus 300 should be about 3,100, right? And then let's catalog bills. Let's say rent is 1,200, utilities 180, car insurance 130. 300 sounds about right for groceries. Phone we'll just say $90, but I think there are phone plans that should be $90, although I've seen like 110, 120 that's usually the list. But that's all our essentials for bills. Again, that should come out to roughly about $1,900. I'm just pulling up my calculator here on my other screen. So that's 1,200. We said 180 for utilities, 130 for car insurance, 300, and 90 for phone. Yeah, that's about 1,900. Again, these are the examples. These are just examples. I am more than certain, at least in the city I live in, that utilities are not $180. But just as an example. And then let's talk flex spending. Remember, this is the area where leaks tend to happen the most. Your subscriptions. That's a flex spend. Oftentimes, software apps, streaming services will subscribe to that we're not paying for. Those are flex spending. So eating out is an example of flex spending. Amazon purchases that we don't necessarily need as an example of flex spending. Coffee and snacks, example Starbucks, example of flex spending, right? Beauty, self-care, ladies, the hair shop. Then as well, it's not just ladies these days, anybody. Hair shop, nails, those are flex spending. So going back to our budget, we've gotten our income for 3,100. We have a total essentials bills of 1,900, and let's say flex spending is a total of 622. Eating out for the month about 260, and Amazon 180, and all the other expenses. But let's just say it's a total of 622. 622 for flex spending is a lot, because flex spending on a monthly income of 3,100 should be about $300, 350 max. And that is because $300 of 3100 comes out to roughly less than 10%, which is a good rule of thumb, right? Your flex spending should never be more than 10% of your total monthly income. That's your treats, how you treat yourself. So keep that in mind. On an income of 3100, we're looking at $350 max for spending. This is December, so we'll just say seasonal spending, 425 between gifts and extra groceries and holiday travel and yada yada yada. The problem with holiday spending isn't that we overspend, is that we don't separate December spending from normal spending. Okay, so we've gotten our budget. So let's just do quick simple math here. Let me just pull this over. Um, let's see if I can. I was hoping to be able to share my screen. Let's see if I can successfully do that. Calculator. Here we go. Here we go. I think that's this one. Okay. And we want, let me move this over here. Calculator. All right. I think I got it. I think I got it. So let me know if you can see my calculator. Okay. All right. Well, if you can see it, let me know. But I wanted to do simple, just a quick, easy math here. So our income is 3100. We will subtract our essential bills of 1900. We will subtract our flex spending. We said it was 622, and our holiday spending of 425, leaving us $153, which again, $153 in this economy, nothing to sneeze at. I would say you can either apply that to debt depending on your situation, or you can save that money, right? So again, just running down one more time here. I'm doing the math one more time real quick. All right. So again, I wanted to make sure I got it right. Perfect. All right. So our income example again, we've got 3100. Our bills essentials, we've got 1900. Our flex spending, we've got 622. Our holiday spending, we said 425. Yeah, I got it right. $153. And so with all of that, that $153 is money you can choose to either save, you can choose to spend on your minimum payments. But that is $153 extra dollars that we've gotten from taking a good look at the budget. Okay? So we want to talk about how to temporarily tighten without feeling deprived. Here is why that is important. It is important that we temporarily tighten without feeling deprived, because just again, human psychology, when you feel deprived, we often tend to go back and make up for it, right? It's almost like when you deny yourself food for a very long time, when you do eat, there is a tendency to overeat, and that's just because the body is feeling deprived. As a human, you're feeling deprived. So, quick examples that can help to tighten your budget without making you feel deprived, or the things you're used to treating yourself with, is to swap dinner outings for weekend at home meals. Make it fun to try new recipes. So it is definitely cheaper to buy groceries and cook at home than it is to eat out. And so let's say, for example, you're used to eating out 7 days a week, you can cut it down to five to start with. If you're used to eating out 5 days a week, you can cut it down to 3 days a week. You're tightening and saving some of the money you would usually spend. You can replace buying coffee with brewing for 14 days. Like 2 weeks of depriving yourself of certain things can add up to significant savings, right? And I say 2 weeks because that's the amount of time when it happens, it's easy for you to see you can do it, that it can be done, that it's not an impossible, insurmountable task. And so for 14 days, you can replace buying coffee with brewing. You can create your Amazon 14-day wait list. No Amazon purchases for the next 14 days. And if you still want it after 2 weeks, you revisit. That's the one thing I've learned recently to help me with Amazon spending is I used to have the tendency to just, especially early in the morning, I wake up, toss stuff in my cart and buy. But I've learned to do my Amazon purchases on a specific day, typically Saturdays in the morning at the end of the work week. But what happens is throughout the week, from Monday through Friday, or from Sunday through Friday, whenever I open my Amazon, I'm tossing stuff in the shopping cart, but I'm not clicking buy. I'm not buying anything unless it's an essential. Again, cannot live without it, life or death, do or die. Unless it's an essential, I'm not buying it. Whatever is in my Amazon shopping cart from Sunday to Friday sits there. I don't buy. And it takes incredible discipline to wait 14 days before you buy something. So maybe make it a week. Instead of 14 days, make it a week. Toss stuff in your shopping cart whenever you feel like it, but make it a commitment to yourself to limit your Amazon purchases to the one day. How that has helped me is, so from Sunday to Friday, I'm tossing stuff in the cart, and then Saturday morning, I open it to buy. And then you see the balance. It's like 700, 800, $900, which is insane to me. I know I definitely can't afford that. But 8 times out of 10, I discover that 70 to 80% of what I put in the shopping cart from Sunday to Friday, by Saturday morning, I don't need it. Whatever that emotional need I was trying to satisfy with my Amazon shopping cart has mostly come and gone. So then there is no need for me, like I don't need them. So now I'm editing my shopping cart. If I had ordered that every single day, every time I put in stuff in the shopping cart, I order it, then I end up in a place on Saturday, by Saturday, haven't spent that $800. But because I just put it in the shopping cart and waited until Saturday, I end up spending far, far less than that because now I'm able to edit a lot of the emotional stuff I was responding to that made me put stuff in the shopping cart. I've handled it or dealt with it, or I'm in the middle of dealing with it. And so I end up saving a lot of money. So that $800 might be 100, might be 50. And there have certainly been times when I don't order anything. I just clear my shopping cart or I put it to save for later. But I end up saving that $800 I would have spent if I'd ordered something every day. So make it a point to create your wait list, but like limit when you are making the order. If you cannot wait 14 days or 2 weeks before you shop on Amazon, well, make it a week. Make it a few days, but not right away, not in the moment you think about it, right? That's going to help you save a lot of money. And I cap social spending. It's not easy, but only say yes to events when you can spend up to your fixed number. So for the next 14 days, pick a number, any number, make sure it matches your budget, and then say for any events or outings or what have you, this is the maximum number you have to spend. And so every time an event is sent your way, make sure you take, like if the person is not paying, make sure you take stock of it so that you only spend your fixed number. And so if you know any amounts that is any spending areas, whether they are essentials, whether they are flex, whether it's holiday spending, necessary or not, whether it's a need or a want that is draining your money other than your mortgage, feel free to put it in the comment box. Just curious to see um, the areas of expenses that people think is draining their funds the most. Is it groceries? Is it food? Is it Amazon? Is it Timu? Because that's another thing we do with like Timu or AliExpress or even TikTok Shop. Because of the cost of the items and sometimes they come with free shipping, it is very easy to go crazy shopping on Timu. I've been there where now I'm looking because I haven't paid attention. I'm looking at my spend for the month and I realize I have spent $300 on things I don't need. It's a lot of stuff because just items are cheaper on Timu or AliExpress, or you can buy in bulk, but that's a lot of money for things I don't need. And again, I've learned that with Timu and with anywhere else, just the same strategy I employ with Amazon, I employ everywhere else. All right. So that I'm just putting stuff in the shopping cart and I do all my purchasing on the same day. Okay. So let's talk about a 14-day money action plan. All right. We want to look at grocery budgets. Lock your grocery budgets in. That's number one. Set up a non-negotiable number. You know what grocery prices look like for you um, when you're not buying excess, because again, we do that. I'm guilty of that as well. Set up a non-negotiable number. An example is $150 for the next 2 weeks. And that's all you spend, period. Keep an eye out. You cannot go over $150. If it says 300, 400, 500, whatever it is for the next 14 days, set up that number and it's a non-negotiable number. So you lock that in. Then set your daily spending limit. For example, on whatever it is you want to buy. Again, if you cannot wait 7 days to shop on Amazon or Temu or what have you, set a non-negotiable spending max like $10 or $25 a day. It helps to prevent emotional impulse buying and it turns spending into a conscious act, not just a passive swipe or a passive click of the submit or order button on a website. Okay. Something I did this morning, honestly, I did this morning, is to unsubscribe from store emails. You can't out discipline 200 marketing emails a week. When Macy's sends you something, and Nordstrom sends something, and even Visa and MasterCard get into the action, and all the different software apps are marketing to you, especially during this time, 40% off, 30% off, 70% off, yada yada yada. You cannot out discipline just that deluge of information and deals and coupons and buy this, you deserve it. It's December. So unsubscribe from all of it. If you use Gmail, it is very easy to bulk unsubscribe. Um, Also helps that promotional emails tend to be grouped into one group, grouping on Gmail. Okay, but whatever email app you are using, unsubscribe from all of the marketing emails, and then create a holiday no list. Items you're refusing to buy, no random decoration, no new outfits for every holiday event. There is no shame in the game when it comes to repeating outfits. If you are not a model on the runway whose clothing choices are not subject to you but on what the designer wants to market, if you are not a child where the clothing or the outfits you wear are dictated by your parents, then there is no reason why you should have a new outfit for every holiday event. There is no reason why you cannot repeat your clothes. You can mix and you match them But this idea of you can't wear something more than once or twice is very silly to me, especially when you cannot afford it. And it's silly the right word I'm looking for. I, and I'm going to use the word silly because sometimes, again, there are certain kinds of spending that are emotional spending. But if you cannot afford it, then you shouldn't have a new outfit for every event. You really shouldn't. Now, if you're buying five clothes for $20 from Shein or what have you, and you can afford $20, sure. But why put that pressure on yourself? You know what I mean? So create a holiday no list. We've talked about that. No new outfits, no random decoration, no one last street purchases for the year. There is never always a last purchase of the year. And then savings. I talked this afternoon to a group of people about savings and the need to save money. A reset needs a win. And saving $25 to $100 today. Now that is your win. Make that, like, pull money wherever you have to and put it in savings. But that is your win for today and celebrate small wins. I am a big fan and a big advocate of celebrating small wins. When you've saved $10, celebrate it because you usually don't save, celebrate it. When you've gone without eating out for 2 3 weeks, celebrate that. Even if it's by 2 days, celebrate that. When it comes to resetting your funds, and resetting your expenses and your budget, you want to celebrate the small wins. You do not want to cast them aside like something useful or useless and meaningless. Okay, and so the important thing to remember is that small changes, right? Small changes brings big control and a breath of fresh air you need in your finances. So I'm going to be working on a reset checklist for us. When I upload this live and you're rewatching or playing it back, if you want the checklist, just drop me in the comments. I will be more than happy to send it your way. If you have not subscribed or followed, please do so. Um, and just hang around. Find me on Instagram, find me on YouTube, and obviously, of course, here on TikTok. Again, remember that the goal of today's talk was to reset your finances, curb December overspending, while working on setting ourselves up for success in 2026 when it comes to our financials. All of this, well, I'm going to be working on a series for a money plan from goals to habit automation. So you definitely don't want to miss that. Thank you so much for hanging out this afternoon as we talk about spending and resetting, and budgets, and gearing up essentially to end the year strong or better than where we are now and starting 2026 in a better, stronger place. If there are any topics you would like me to cover, any topics you are curious about from a personal finance perspective or a wealth building perspective, reach out, let me know. We'll be more than happy to cover it. I hope you join me for the next live. Hope you find me on all the different platforms, Zoba's Wealth Lab, and follow. And wherever you are and whatever you are doing, I am wishing you a December with a great financial reset, a December with savings, a December with alleviation of what's going on with you financially, a December with a budget that works for you, a December with side hustles that make you money. I have a lot of videos about that on my YouTube channel, so go take a look. We will be exploring a few. I know I did a recent live where I talked about some side hustles that are very easy to start. Let me tell you the easiest one. And actually, I literally started that 2 weeks ago. Notary Public. It's one people sleep on. It's my favorite one to talk about recently because it really doesn't take much to be a notary public. Um, it cost me, let me see, $45 to sign up, at least through my state. I'm in Maryland. It cost me $45 to sign up for a class and take the exam. Took me a day to do the class and take the exam. The very next day, I applied with my county, and that day my application got approved, and they were like, "You've got 30 days, come down to the courthouse to swear in." 3 days later, I was in the courthouse. Um, and it's didn't even, like, it took me longer to go to the courthouse, find parking, figure out the right floor and window, and to leave. It didn't take 5 minutes to be sworn in as a notary public. Go to the window, they tell you the amount you pay, you raise your right hand, they give you a vow, sign something, and they email you your commission and you're gone. And then you have to order your supplies. There are a lot of places that hire notary publics online. One thing I discovered during the journey to become a notary public was you need E&O insurance. I did not know that. So I had to purchase, they call it errors and omission. Errors and omission insurance, but it's cheap. It was $2 a month. And my commission lasts 4 years. So I just paid $2 a month for 4 years for about $25,000 worth of coverage. And that suffices, meets the minimum requirements. But there are places that offer a a database, not a database, a platform where you can sign up as a remote notary public. It's $10 here, $15 here, $30 here, but it adds up. You can do it from the comfort of your home. There are places that operate 24/7, so you can start early in the morning to see if you can find, people to help notarize their stuff in the afternoon, in the evening. It's something you can do throughout the day if you sign up with some of these outfits. So Notary Public, if you're out there, you're looking for a side hustle to get started this month of December. It's low cost to start. Let me see. If we do the math, um, $2 a month for 12 months. That's about a year. So that's $24 a year, and then $24 yeah, that looks about right. $24 for 4 years, and then I had to pay taxes and stuff, so it came out to about I'm looking at my receipt here, $108 for E&O insurance. Plus, so let me tell you how much it cost me to become a notary public. $108 for 4 years of E&O insurance. So let's divide that by four. So that's $27 for 1 year. Plus $45 for the classes. And again, I told you it took me 1 day to do the class, study the class, and actually pass the exam. And then I paid $11 to the county to be sworn in as a notary public. That's $83 for 1 year. If we The $11 covers 4 years, by the way. So technically, it's not $11; it's less than that. It costs me $83 a year to become a notary public, and I guarantee you that money can easily be recouped. You can recoup that money right away. That's a great side hustle to get started. That if you're within the United States, it's something to consider. You can do it from the comfort of your home. You can do it 24/7. You can do it from your phone. You can do it on a laptop. Again, Notary Public. I'm just gonna put it in the chat. That's not the way to spell notary. Notary. There we go. That is a great side hustle to start. Again, it's remote, it's very low cost, it's very low scale. It just requires you to pay great attention. And like I said, when I do the math, it costs me $83 to do. It cost me $83 for a whole year. Um, and that's $83 you can get back and make extra within that year. So think about it. That's something to work towards, a side hustle to work towards. Notary public, notary public, notary public in your county, in your state. Look up the requirements, but it's often not a lot. And even if it and you also order the physical supplies, because in your area, if there are people and if you're fine and comfortable with it, if there are people who want a notary public in person, then you're able to take care of that. And when you become a notary public, here is something else I discovered this week as I was signing up for it. You can become a loan signing agent. You have to be a notary public before you become a loan signing agent. Again, you can work online, work with mortgage companies, work with insurance companies, work with financial houses, outfits to more or less notarize or oversee the signing of loan documents. For the state of Maryland, it requires title insurance licensing, which I am looking into, see what is needed to get that. Again, it didn't look like it looked like a low cost option. Just once you've spent a little bit of money to become a notary public, you've recouped how much you spend on that. I think loan signing agent is a very good next step. So that's something to think about as we're thinking side hustles this December. Something to at least get your licensing and everything in the month of December so that starting January you can start to do the work. And so we've talked about becoming a notary public. Something another side hustle option that we often overlook or people don't think about is tutoring. And I know it sounds like, well, people have Chat GPT, but again, I looked into it, what was it, by December? So in the month of October, people still need tutors. Chat GPT is only going to do so much, especially with places being smart about checking for what AI has written. There are still a lot of people who, yeah, Chat GPT put it together, but they don't understand what the hell is going on. They have no idea what it has said. They need somebody, a human element, to break it down. And we all know that AI makes errors, right? And so it takes a human to catch a lot of those errors that ChatGPT has made. So there are still advantages of a tutor. There are still people who are looking for tutors, especially remote tutors. You can set up your own outfit, but there are a lot of places that are hiring, especially this season. This season, tutors are needed the entirety of the year, especially during the school season, but even during the holidays, as students are prepping and just getting ready for the next semester for elementary schools, for high schools, middle schools, and especially college students. So we've talked Notary Public, we've talked about becoming a tutor. Now here is we've talked about loan signing agent to an extent, right? And just as we're getting ready to wrap up, there are a couple more that we often don't talk about. Content creators need help. There are a lot of side hustles that revolve around that. So if you are not the one creating the content, there are those who need help managing their stuff. And again, this is something I just discovered the last couple of weeks. Um, there are content creators who want to hire people to help them write their captions. Again, it's one of those things where you're thinking, ooh, I can just toss it into ChatGPT or Gemini or something, but they need a human element to take a look at it. And so for the person who is asking, yeah, I'm teaching us just how to make some money. I am teaching us, especially in this month of December, make a little bit of money, set ourselves up for financial success in 2026 with some side hustles. And if you are into budgeting, like just making sure you're good on that. But as I was saying, there are content creators who need somebody to help them um, write their captions. There are a lot of non-profits, especially in this season, that are looking for somebody to help them research grants. They don't have the money or they don't have the time for it because now is this season they're busy collecting money, but they know that they have to apply for grants and they need somebody to spend time to research those grants for them. So there are non-profits who are looking for people to help them not even apply for it, but research it to show them this is where you go to apply. These are the grants you qualify for. This is what you need to apply. They might sometimes need help to apply for it, right? And so catchafire.org, I'm going to put that in the chat. That's a great site to go look for nonprofits who need help. If you are a grant writer or know somebody who writes grants, go to indeed.com under grant writer. That is a good place to find a contract role. When we talked about tutoring, wiseant.com is a good place to go look. Varsity Tutors is a good place to go look, and they are always in the need for tutors. There are many out there. I'm just giving examples that I am aware of. We talked about notary publics and being a loan signing agent. So here are just two good places again to go look for that. There is notarycafe.com and snapdocs.com. And again, there are many other places that you can go look, but these are some great examples um, of places you can go right away to sign up to be a notary public, to be a tutor, to find nonprofits who need help. TaskRabbit is somewhere where people go, and I talked about content creators who need help. So I will add this one, beacons.ai. Beacons.ai is where you can go to go find content creators um, who need help with different things. Um, if you are a content creator, you can use it as well. Wherever you are in the content creator journey, Beacons has tools to help you grow up and to level up. Signing up for beacons.ai gives you access to different creators who are in need of help. Um, so I would head there. They also have a great referral program. That's another area to look into if you already have a lot of social media followers. You want to take a look at referral programs for different things. So there are apps that are like budgeting apps that will pay you to create content for them. Or there are also sites where they list the different, you don't even need a lot of followers. They list different videos they need for their different products, and you can create those videos and get paid. Sometimes they will ask for they will pay $10 or $15 or $20 for the different videos. But those are they will joinbrands.com is one of those places. So I'm gonna put it in the chat here. Joinbrands.com is somewhere where there are a lot of businesses. They easily have a day 500 opportunities available. Different companies of different sizes, from small to large, that are looking for people who will create videos for them on Amazon, who will create videos for them on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, who will be via do referrals for them being in their referral or affiliate program. So joinbrands.com is a good place to sign up to apply for those opportunities to help businesses create videos, and it's short videos. Sometimes you want it to be a minute. Sometimes they even give you the script, right? They'll give you the script. They'll say, I have come across a few where they'll say, well, this is the color we want you to wear, this is the setting we want. I've come across those that are they don't really have a requirement, just make something cool. So that if you are already on social media, if you already have maybe like 500 followers or even less than that, on joint brands at least, there are opportunities for people of different sizes, right? Everybody has a different requirement, but I know like the very first one I applied for and got, they were paying $20. It was a budgeting app, and they really didn't care. They didn't really have any specifications. All they want is highlight this particular feature in our app. They were rolling out an AI feature, and so that's what they wanted. They wanted like a 45-second to 60-second clip for TikTok just to review their budgeting app. So joinbrands.com is a good place to go get if you don't need a lot of followers, to find brands that will pay you different amounts of money to create short videos. And I'll put one more below. Dot app is another good one where you can go to find paid brand deals. And so we've kind of covered a lot in the past 50 minutes. We've talked about financially resetting for December, and how you can not remove but temporarily restrict certain areas where you are spending. And we've also gone through different side hustles that you can start this month, today, this upcoming week, to apply for and get ready for, get the licensing, apply for the accounts, learn the different platforms so that come January 2026, you can start making money on all of these on the side hustles front. Just for the benefit of those that have joined us, just newly, we talked about becoming a notary public in your county. We talked about becoming a loan signing agent after that. We talked about places you can go to create short content for apps. We have talked about reviewing for brands that we want you to join their affiliate network. Like one place that is always hiring affiliates is Capital One Shopping, right? That is we talked about early in the live. We talked about the psychology of places always wanting you to spend money. There is a tip. Instead of spending all that money there, in a way you can kind of advertise or help become an affiliate, make some money, and help people save money who are not where you are yet, right? Those who cannot yet resist the allure of, oh, you deserve this, it's the end of the year. Send them to Capital One Shopping because you get a lot of deals through Capital One Shopping. Rakuten is another one where you can save money. So just a tip, while you are doing your Christmas shopping, to get some money back. A lot of stores were offering 15-20% off through Rakuten, or cashback rather, when you shop on their sites through Rakuten. So I joined Rakuten like Instacart. You can Instacart through there. So every Instacart purchase gets 1 to 5% depending on the week and what deal Instacart is running. And the cool thing with Rakuten is they pay every month. You link up your PayPal, and whatever your balance is in there, they automatically transfer to your PayPal account at the beginning of the month. Automatic. So if you are someone who shops heavily, you're still working on your budgeting and on your reset, Rakuten, Rakuten, Rakuten. I'm talking about it because I use it. I tried Capital One Shopping years back. I think I must still have like $15 of a balance left on it. I haven't transferred out yet. But why I like Rakuten better is the payouts are automated. I don't have to wait for the payouts to happen. At the beginning of every month, they send the money to your PayPal account. You can do DoorDash through Rakuten. So if you're used to ordering out, there are different stores I see there. I don't see Walmart, but I've shopped through Sam's Club. If you are into fragrances, they have a lot of like Fragrance X and Fragrance.net and Joma Shop and all of that are through Rakuten. If you're into clothes, Lane Bryant and Target and so on, you can find through Rakuten. And again, from week to week, from yeah, I would say at least every week there is a new deal that is going on Rakuten. I am trying to pull up mine just so that I can show you what it looks like today. So let's see here. All right. Well, it shows you the places I've been to recently, but they have more stores. So let's see if you can see this properly. So there is Sam's Club is offering 4%. Instacart is at 1%, which doesn't look like a lot. But if you're on Instacart a lot and you do all your grocery shopping through there, that's plenty. Let's see. AliExpress, I was there for Christmas shopping. What's that? 2%. There is Macy's, edX. I signed up for a course. Timu is another one that often has high percentages. That's 6%. There is Gap and Ulta for beauty purchases and so on. Even Groupon. That's the green one is offering 8% cash back. And so, but they have different stores. They have different categories of stores. There is lens crafters, there is clothing, travel and vacations. For holiday gifts and flowers, they have stores for that. If you want toys and games, you can get it through there. I don't know what company this is, Kraken. They're offering $150 cashback opportunity. And so again, whatever it is you're buying, like NYX for makeup has 4%. Omaha Steaks, anybody out there into steaks, it's 12%. Somebody's offering $45 cashback. But I say all that to say that it's a very good app on your phone, and you can also use the web version when you are making purchases. It is an easy way to get cash back on all your online purchasing needs. And now that I talked about it, I realized we got to Rakuten talking about being an affiliate. I've talked at length about Rakuten, and I am not yet an affiliate with them, but it's a really solid app that automates payouts every single month. I think that was my issue with Capital One shopping, where they were like, you have to have a certain amount of money, like $45 or $50, to get some cash back, which didn't make me happy. But I did. I think I got like my first, whatever it was, whatever that amount was. I got my $45 and I have like $15 sitting there. But with Rakuten, there is no minimum. Like whatever, if you've got 1 cent in there, they will send you 1 cent the next month. If you've got $50 in there, if you've got $5, they automate payouts to your PayPal. So a good company to become an affiliate of. Capital One Shopping too, if you like it. Credit Karma, if you like it. Um, but yeah, so affiliate programming, reviewing, creating videos, becoming a notary public, helping with grants, tutoring, and content creators who need help. So those are some great and really easy way um, to make some money, to reset your finances, to get yourself in shape for the month of December. And since we dove into side hustles, whatever it is you're doing with money, whether you are temporarily restricting spending, or whether you are becoming an affiliate, whether you are signing up for side hustles, remember this: you don't want to reinvent yourself. You simply want to monetize the version of you that already exists. Whatever side hustle you pick, ask, what do people already ask me for help with? That is your first income stream. After that, when you've mentally settled there, pick something you can stick to for 90 days. And that is because it takes 90 days to settle in and make some money. If you signed up for in your state today to become a notary public, you just don't want to do it for 1 week and disappear. You also don't want to do 55 different things at the same time. Because my favorite saying for those kinds of situations is, you become a doer of everything and a profiter from none of it. Right? So you don't want to do everything and then you're stressed out, you're tired, and you're not making money or scaling or advancing or growing in any one thing. So whatever side hustle you pick one you are interested in enough to stick to for 90 days. Doesn't mean you can't add other things, right? But also be honest with your time. Don't pick something that is going to require 20 hours a week and you can only afford 5, because then you spend a lot of time preparing for it and you cannot sustain it long enough to make any money out of it. So I can't believe it's been almost an hour. Like once again, we talked budgeting, we talked side hustles, we talked making money and not reinventing yourself and resetting your fund. We talked about how to manage December spending so you're not so financially stressed out. And just for the benefit of those that are joining the live late, if there are any financial topics you would love me to address, make sure you're following Zoba's Wealth Lab here on TikTok, follow on YouTube and Instagram as well. I would love to hop back on and talk about it. um any If you want me to dive into some more side hustles, more than happy to do so, and even go through some sites together on live. But find me where I find me. Follow, like, subscribe, share, comment, and I'll be more than happy to dive in. So once again, this is the Bass Wealth Lab, where we talk reward finance, no fluff, and encourage creating and maintaining wealth fearlessly. I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful evening and the absolute best in whatever